What's going on, guys? Hope you're all keeping well. Thank you for clicking into another video. It's time to talk about SummerSlam 1992, the SummerSlam we thought we'd never get. But before we get on with that, before I track on and tell you what I thought about SummerSlam 1992, if you haven't done so already, smash that subscribe button. Let's help this channel grow. I really appreciate everyone that has done so far, everyone that's interacted on this channel so far. Thank you very much. But let's get on with the SummerSlam we thought we'd never get. My very first pay-per-view, the very first wrestling show I ever attended, hailing from Wembley Stadium, the original Wembley Stadium, the Two Towers Wembley Stadium, not that arch crap we got now. This was the original. This was the GOAT, man. This was Wembley. And it was just great to see all the sea of fans at Wembley. They packed it out. They sold it out. And that tells you how over professional wrestling was back in 1992 in this country. And it's a crying shame it took so long for another professional wrestling show to happen when this one was so great. This one was one of the best SummerSlams of all time. It makes no sense that the WWF, WWE have never come back, have never ever tried or attempted to come back and repeat what they did back in 1992. They left it to the new company AEW to try, and they did a decent job last year. Don't get me wrong, but this is the greatest professional wrestling show to ever hail from the United Kingdom, from Wembley Stadium, and maybe even the greatest SummerSlam of all time. Let's have that right. Let's get that in there as well. Or maybe I'm a bit biased because I was there. This was the first ever show I went to, and I've watched this show over and over and over again. And I'm one who loves stadium shows. I love them. I think they are levels above arena shows. I love it when it's outside and you've got the natural light, starts off light, the sunlight, and then it goes later in the evening, and then you get dusk, and then it goes into night time. It's just fantastic visuals, in my opinion. I love it, absolutely love it. And I loved going back and watching this once again. I really did. And let's talk about those dark matches, because you don't get them on the network. You have to get the DVD or the Blu-ray to watch them nowadays. But I had it on VHS back in the day. I swear I did. I had those matches on VHS because I know I've seen them multiple times. It wasn't just me being there remembering these matches. It was me watching it on VHS back in the day. And for some reason the network have just scrapped the first two matches, calling them dark matches. Come on. I know it was only a 6-man tag with Duggan and the Bushwhackers against the Mountie and the Nasty Boys, but it was an entertaining match. It was a good way to start the show, and it got the crowd hyped up, man. It really did. And then we get Papa Shango, a new character in the WWF. We'd seen him at WrestleMania, and they're trying to get this character over. Poor old Charles Wright, man. The characters he has to go through to finally find one that fits him, that works in The Godfather. He has to suck it up here with Papa Shango. This was terrible. Against Tito Santana. You know Papa Shango's going over. He's a new character. He's bound to win. You're not going to have him lose straight out against Tito Santana, who'd been around, who'd had his day, really. It was what it was. Then we move on to what should have been, what many people thought would have been, the tag team title match for SummerSlam. Finally, we're getting Legion of Doom against Money Inc. But headed into this, Money Inc. dropped the belts to the Natural Disasters, so we've got just a tag team match, really. But this tag team match means a lot more than we ever realised, really, when we watched this live. Even when we watched this afterwards, until many years later, when it was all explained what went down with LOD after this, that Hawk just split and effed off with somewhere in the UK. He stayed in the UK with and yeah, we never really saw him again. Went absent without leave. Animal was left holding his nuts, not knowing what was going on. It's just kind of like we never saw the LOD again for some time after this. especially in the WWF. It took a couple of years for them to come back together and to get back to the WWF. But yeah, this was one of the last matches we see of LOD. It was a decent match. It was okay. Bit of a strange, but you could tell watching it now that Hawk was under the influence. You could see he wasn't himself in this match. So yeah, it kind of puts a dampener on things right there. Nails versus Virgil. Nails, man. Nails! Just, yeah. Yeah, the less said the better. Rick Martel versus Shawn Michaels. I enjoyed the stipulation added into this match. Was kind of silly, I suppose, but I did enjoy it. I enjoyed Sherry Martel. She was the main focus of this match. I thought she was fantastic throughout. But it was just heel versus heel. No one really cared. No one was really bothered. It was just the comedy aspect from Sherry Martel which sold this for me. She was fantastic. We did get the tag team title match. The natural disasters against the Beverly brothers. Anyone believed that the Beverly brothers were ever going to win the titles back then, you were smoking something real good. I thought the Beverly brothers were a decent team, don't get me wrong. They just never got the chance they deserved. They were never going to get a push with the characters they had, the gimmicks they had. It was never going to get over. They were never going to get those titles considering the other teams that were around at that time. It was just never going to happen. Crush defeated the Repo Man. Remember Crush? I was like, yeah, was what it was really. Repo Man never really hit the heights, did it? No, neither did Crush, to be honest with you. That guy went through so many gimmicks but kept the same name. That was what was strange with him. What was even stranger, like a year or two ago, these two were tag teaming together as Demolition. But it was what it was. Ultimate Warrior versus Randy Savage for the world title, with whose corner is Mr. Perfect gonna be, and that was the storyline heading into this. Pathetic, really was. I enjoyed it as a kid, but now going back to it, it was kind of pathetic, really. Ric Flair should have definitely been in this match. There's no way Ultimate Warrior should have ever been anywhere near this. Would have been so much better. Just having a rematch with Flair and Savage at Wembley. Can you imagine Ric Flair having a match at Wembley? They didn't have Ric Flair in a match at Wembley. I mean, you'd already not given the fans Hulk Hogan. These tickets went on sale a long time before this show ever happened. A long time before Hulk Hogan walked out. That's what people were expecting. So we didn't get Hogan. We didn't get Flair. We got this. It was okay, but Warrior weren't great in the first place, and he weren't at his best here. Very obvious to tell. It was okay match. Savage carried him to a good match, but there's only so much Savage can do. The end saw a count out, and yeah, it wasn't for me really. The Warrior wins by count out. Savage retains. The Undertaker defeated Kamala. Tatanka defeated the Berserker. And then we get to the main event. And like I've said in past SummerSlam reviews, these retro SummerSlam reviews, the one title that has been featured, the one title that has stolen the show every SummerSlam has been the Intercontinental Championship. SummerSlam belongs to the IC title. And once again, it's the same old story. Because this time at the Intercontinental Championship, for the first time, and I can't think of when it's happened again, to be honest with you, off the top of my head. Someone will probably hit me up in the comments and tell me, oh, by the way, the Intercontinental Championship was defended in 2007 on the 18th of July in the pay-per-view main event. But no, I really can't remember when the Intercontinental Championship was the main event. And this match deserved it. This match goes down in history as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, SummerSlam match of all time. Intercontinental title match of all time. One of Bret Hart's, Bret Hart's best matches of all time. And he's had some bangers. Believe me, if you don't know, go and find out. Educate yourself. This was phenomenal. Two baby faces brother-in-laws going at it. Bret Hart had been on a great run as the IC champion. I mean, he'd had a great title match at WrestleMania with Roddy Piper, and many people believed here that Bulldog didn't stand much of a chance. There was a big following of Bret Hart. Trust me, he had his followers over in the UK. I was one of them. I enjoyed Bret Hart back in the day. I loved the Hart Foundation. And then when he went on that singles run, became the IC champion, what was not to love? So we had to split things here because we had to be loyal to one of our own in the British Bulldog. But then we had Bret Hart, an up-and-coming babyface champion that we knew was going on to big things, and we weren't wrong there. This match, fantastic, stands the test of time. It really does. You ain't seen a better match today than this. You're not. It just shows how great, how talented these two individuals actually were. And a great finish. And a great way to end the show. And it will always stick with me, the moment Bulldog won, and oh my God, just the sound, that sound, just hitting you like a wave. I remember it still to this day. It's sending shivers down my spine. You can see the goosebumps on my arms. Just remembering that moment when the British Bulldog, our own, one of our own, was the Intercontinental Champion on the biggest stage at SummerSlam. Wow, what a moment. And to be a wrestling fan, one of the moments that will always stick with me for the rest of my life was that moment right there. The British Bulldog standing in the ring with Bret Hart, with Diana Hart, holding aloft the Intercontinental Championship, and thousands upon thousands upon thousands of his countrymen cheering. It was just a great show. And from that moment onwards, the amount of shows I've been to over the years, this started it off for me. This was the start of the journey. And what a great show it was. What a great way to start. And it's been great going on. I can't lie, I've had some great shows, but this one, for me, one of my all-time favourites. And still up there as one of the best I've ever been to. It really is. There's one that might get near it, but this was one of the best. One of the best. Let me know what you think about SummerSlam 1992. I'd love to hear from other people that were at the show as well, what you remember about that show. I just remember the sea of people. There were just so many people. It was crazy. I just didn't think back then that many people loved professional wrestling as much as I did as a kid. That was what shocked me the most, was wow, how many people in this country love professional wrestling. And it shocked me even last year when I went to AEW at Wembley, how many people were there. And it's just great that this country has a massive, loyal professional wrestling fan base, and it's been great getting to know them as well over the years. When I've gone to a wrestling show, I've got friends now who are massive professional wrestling fans, and we go to those shows, we do everything together, become some great mates, and that's what professional wrestling does, doesn't it? It brings people together. But let me know what you think down below about SummerSlam 1992, a show I really enjoyed. It's always going to be close to my heart. I'm going to be biased about it. I'm sorry if this was a biased review. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.